Israel bombed so much of Gaza that it's made the food source, which is the land, toxic. And the 98% of it they bombed. The remaining 2% that Israel didn't bomb is on the other side of the yellow line. What that means is that each and every morsel of food that a Palestinian is consuming is controlled by Israel. I think we do a huge disservice when we call this the Board of Peace. And the reason I think that we do it a disservice is because there's no peace involved. All that's involved is effectively one person, being President Trump, a man who has never been to Palestine, he's never been to Gaza, he's not Palestinian. Here's a person who is deciding the future of Gaza. And so it's neither a board nor have anything to do with peace. Instead, the point of it has been to simply normalize Israel's genocide of Palestinians. How? By focusing attention on him and away from what Israel's doing in Gaza. This is why we've seen, since the ceasefire was signed, the so-called ceasefire, another misnomer, that Israel has continued to bomb Palestinians, continued to kill Palestinians. It's continued to hold on to most of the land of the Gaza Strip. And it continues to maintain a very brutal blockade over Gaza. This is why we're not seeing the entry of humanitarian aid. We haven't seen medicines coming in. We haven't seen medical equipment come in. We haven't seen food supplies come in. We haven't seen reconstruction equipment come in. So when we focus on this board and somehow view it as a board when it's really just one individual, and we use the term peace, what we're really doing is we're dehumanizing, once again, the Palestinian experience, and we're ignoring the ongoing genocide that Israel's conducting against Palestinians. I see that this board is really just a way of normalizing genocide. It's an attempt to take away attention from Gaza and from Israel's actions in Gaza, and to instead have us focus on something else. This is a very old Israeli tactic where they try to shift attention away from what they're doing to shifting attention onto something completely different. And I see this all the time. For example, while the world is focused on trying to get journalists into Gaza, and let me be clear in saying that it's very important that foreign journalists be allowed to get into Gaza, just in the same way that it's important for humanitarian workers and doctors and paramedics and the world to get into Gaza. At the same time, there's only that focus, and yet these same journalists who are demanding access into Gaza have been ignoring completely what Israel has done in the West Bank. Over the course of the past couple of years, Israel has killed over 1,000 Palestinians in the West Bank, half of them children. It has destroyed the homes of over 32,000 Palestinians in refugee camps in the West Bank, and it continues to allow settlers, who are actually terrorists, to do whatever it is that they want to do. So again, we see that when we use terms like Board of Peace or Trump plan, that the intention is to shift attention away from Israel's genocide of Palestinians and to somehow turn it into focusing on something completely different. And so we have discussions and dialogues about this something completely different and ignore what Israel's doing to Palestinians in the West Bank and in the Gaza Strip. There have been a lot of people who've been talking about Rafah, which is the one crossing point to the world for Gaza. We have to ask ourselves, why is that the only crossing point? And the reason is that Israel bombed the airport. It's never allowed a seaport to be built. And it has closed off every other access point to the world. This is why Palestinians from the West Bank have never been to the Gaza Strip, even though we're from the same country. What's happening now in Rafah is that Israel continues to block the entry of humanitarian aid and of medical supplies, including much needed equipment that Israel bombed, including medicines. It's also blocking things like reconstruction equipment. It's blocking tents. It's blocking everything that you can think of. But one thing that people haven't focused on is food. Israel bombed so much of Gaza that it's made the food source, which is the land, toxic. And the 98% of it they bombed. The remaining 2% that Israel didn't bomb is on the other side of the yellow line. What that means is that each and every morsel of food that a Palestinian is consuming is controlled by Israel. Israel controls the quantity, it controls the quality. And so when we're talking about Rafah, it's important to both understand, first, that it's the only entry and exit point for Palestinians, and that even that, Israel's continuing to hold and just in order to suffocate Palestinians and to starve them.